I wasn't planning to make a comment. I did not intend to say a word. But with the general elections in the air, I thought I should let my voice be heard. This is a time when party supporters with the ability to compose will suddenly become important persons, and the reason everybody knows. Cause politicians who couldn't find your number just a few months ago now sending you WhatsApp messages and plenty emails also. But I have made a firm decision, and certain people ought to be aware that I am walking down a different road, and they better lend me an ear. Just this one last vote are giving them. Just one last vote are giving them. And it's in the party's best interest to take note. Cause I do not intend to keep on being friend with a tourism minister who is doing quite well but can't call a hotel on behalf of me and Keisha. Tell me if it's normal for a man to stay loyal to a political party when he can't even raise a little money to pay to record his commentary. But whoever asking if I'm voting them, tell them the answer is yes. But I'm bloody vexed, so I'm voting. Next election's under protest. This is not any willy-nilly song. This comes straight from the horse's mouth. And by that I mean I'm just stating concerns of party support.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okay, a lot is happening on St. Maarten. I'm a bit down today because of the news that I've heard yesterday. The Daily Herald came out with a big article concerning the landfill situation and the relocation paid for by the World Bank / NRPB. Now, we're going to start off with the program online from Fernando Clark with members of Parliament, Savage Chris and also Claudius Boncampo. They went very extensive in the article and also what it means for St. Maarten people who continue to live here and continue trying to strive. I must warn you that it can be a bit emotional because it's pretty sad, I must say. You know, can't even make a joke about it. The travesty that is happening by the NRPB and the relocation of over 200 illegal persons from the dump, while, you know, the rest of the population has to suck salt and be neglected by this government, is outrageous. Simply put, outrageous. But I'll play the video so that you can understand why I'm upset.
Read it. Asked about the specific situation, the NRPP director Connor said that the resettlement aims at change for the better. We don't look at resettlement based on what people are doing or have been doing. We don't look at who is legal or illegal. What we are looking at is an area that is marked for what the World Bank calls involuntary resettlement. This means that basically the affected persons do not have a choice.
Now it goes further. That article. In that article, they go.
You know, I hear they do. Okay. I hear the World Bank is the government there.
Okay. They are the government. Okay. Because we went to Washington in 2018 and signed off our lives. We gave them what they wanted, to come here and use the kingdom's money to treat us like a third world country. Slaves. All right? That's what we gave the World Bank when we signed in Washington in 2018. But I'll go a step further. Because in that same so-called involuntary movement, there are people in there that were renting in a place called Harding something.
Hold on, man.
From a lady from Santo Domingo. She doesn't live here. She got 10 illegal houses there.
Which is?
She lives in Santo Domingo.
Okay, hold that
and
last
she got a
thought.
henchman.
Hold that last thought. Hold it.
Second the rent.
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. As stated in the Resettlement Action Plan, the owner of rented dwellings, buildings, and other immovable assets who does not reside in the resettlement area of impact, identified as off-site squatter landlord, will be compensated in cash for the full replacement cost. Patio de Yanara is one of those immovable assets hidden between mountains of scrap metal at the bottom of the south part of the dump, 300 meters behind the Vehicle Inspection Center on Swaliga Road. During a series of site inspections by a reporter from this newspaper between December 2019 and July 2022, it became clear that Yanara is a Dominican woman who claims to own a dozen shacks, that's 12, on the government-owned terrain adjacent to the dump. While she lives in the Dominican Republic, a henchman in St. Maarten collects rent from each person living at the site at $350 each shack, or 2 times $250 if 2 persons share a shack. The shacks have mostly been occupied by undocumented Venezuelans. The group of men between the ages of 25 and 55 years old had came to St. Maarten during the months after Hurricane Irma pummeled the island on the 6th of September 2017 in search of coveted dollars, applying for jobs and construction. Visas were not yet mandatory for Venezuelans at the time. But this is the part. She will be compensated.
Now, listen to me carefully.
Okay?
Listen to me carefully.
You want to tell me something ain't wrong with us in this country?
Wrong. Not only.
You want to tell me something ain't wrong with us in this country?
The tax office.
But you gonna do register your business now, and then the tax office come.
The tax office didn't
and get an assessment.
She collects. I'm going with 12. Right? They said 12. 12 times $350. That is $4,200 a month. That is close to a little over $50,000 a year. The woman doesn't pay a dollar tax in St. Maarten.
She lives in Santo Domingo.
Yes, she doesn't
You
pay
got to
a
file
dollar
your taxes,
tax
my
in
friend.
St. Maarten. She is earning that income here.
In St. Maarten.
We want to go after everybody else. The Minister of Finance
They tax
is asking,
old age pension.
I want to know who owns which house so I could tax them for the money they're making. Here we got the World Bank going to pay somebody in Santo Domingo that is using our land illegally. And you're going to tell me,
Okay?
you're going to tell me we shouldn't open our mouths? Because when I opened my mouth in 2019, when that article was written, because I was against it. They said, oh, I against the squatters, and oh, against the St. Maarten people. Go back and I check the reports. Oh, I was this and oh, I was that. Look at it coming out today. A woman that is using illegal land of the government.
Collecting.
And
you're going to compensate
a year,
her.
and you will give her no money for 12 shacks? You're going to be crazy.
And it's on your land.
But wait, and anybody who agrees with this nonsense should be prosecuted. They should be prosecuted.
Remember the World Bank tell them to do it.
And the World Bank, but let me not
Okay.
do the World Bank.
The World Bank is the government, man.
No, listen.
No, but even if you had a government, that's insane what
They
they
can't go so far.
Yeah.
This is setting.
So they gonna stop it?
They can't.
I mean, they can't stop
They
it.
cannot stop this because the World Bank said this is their way of working. You signed on to it, so don't come whining now after the fact. That you don't know what you signed. It's just like 10. They had no clue what the hell they signed on to. Today we're crying 13 years later. But the same nonsense It's happening now with the World Bank. Everybody eyes big and wide. And why it's happening with the World Bank? Because the Dutch said they don't trust us. We are a bunch of gangsters.
Okay.
Oh, but what are they doing there in gangstery?
Bad no.
Oh, yeah, my Listen.
Listen now. No, listen. Don't go away. Listen.
Yeah.
Because the article is long, eh?
Yeah.
So I'll jump into part. It says here, the resettlement action plan has been developed to ensure that resettlement process complies with the social safeguard policies of the World Bank operational policy. Connor explained, listen to this. All persons living in the resettlement action plan, as well as persons who derive their income from the dump, are dealt with on individual basis. They are given two options: to be compensated in kind, offered another dwelling on a different location, or receive cash money. Okay, wait. The NRPB hired a property appraiser to determine the economic value of businesses in the shantytown that has an active informal economy apart from waste pickers. These are upholsterers and several car mechanics who set up shop under a zinc roof, as well as electricians, masons, carpenters, and roofers who act as independent entrepreneurs. Okay? Some of them walking around with their business card soliciting jobs. If we come to an agreement as to what they have in terms of structure, machinery, and materials, and the amount of money this represents, be it $25,000 or $50,000, they can choose to have this paid out in full. Connor said, we got to listen to me, man. Oh my God.
Do you know how many recipients they got?
List 138.
219.
But in total, 219 people involved.
Yes, sir.
219 people.
139 of which they got businesses too. Listen, home.
You see what Clara Connor doing there? There's no amount of money they could have given me to tell me to do that. I'm going to tell them no. Because I got dignity.
Listen, Connor, after we sign off and we made the payments, they have 8 weeks to vacate the location. Then we will take possession of the location. We will secure it. Once we have an area that we can work on, we will begin demolition of that area. Listen to this, Fernando. Listen to this. This is the NRPB. Prince William Alexander School can't finish to help those children who are needed right now with a school that is closing down and they have nowhere to put them. What do you call them, don't you? The special needs children?
The Excellence Learning Academy.
Excellence Learning Academy.
The Ella.
Okay, the Ella. You can't find a place to put our special needs children to help finish that school because there's a local contractor doing that, you know. So don't give the locals nothing. But they can't get help. Our children, special needs children, can't get help. But I tell you, this is the worst government ever. All right, you think I'm going to be talking? Listen to this part, eh? Listen to this part. According to the Resettlement Action Plan, NRPB expects to pay $3.9 million in compensation for structures in the area, as well as $658,147 for additional assets, $32,232 for trees. Demolition works will amount to an estimated $1 million. Some $2 million has been reserved for buying homes and businesses for resettlement of the persons that opt for in-kind compensation. The Resettlement Action Plan mentions that due to the debris emergency, it will necessarily be relocated as soon as possible with a temporary settlement For this purpose, $228,000 is reserved, as well as $158,000 for a livelihood restoration program. The PAPs will receive allowances. That's the people in the area. Eh? The PAP will receive allowances in cash and in kind to cover for housing, feeding, and other necessities during this period until permanent resettlement arrangement in this place. The resettlement consultants concluded the total budget for the resettlement action plan is $12,366,238. Of this, $1.5 million has been earmarked for consultancy services, $977,753 reserved for an audit of the resettlement once completed. We got to be a set of sick people to accept this. I done. I finish. I gone. I gone. I wanted to talk about the Prime Minister and the election date of October 9th. I wanted to talk, but Fernando, I'm done.
So election is October 9th.
I'm done. I'm going home.
Yeah. The sellout of the century has to be Claret Connor of NRPB. I don't know. I asked the Minister of General Affairs, our Prime Minister, Sylvia Jacobs, and also the Minister of Vromi, Egbert Duran, during the Council of Press briefing, what he thought about the situation. Of course, they acted as if they didn't read the article. They don't know nothing about it. So they was fishing for answers. They tried to answer. I tried to get an official statement from the government on how they feel. Is it that undocumented persons have more power in St. Maarten, or is it just that because the World Bank is paying for these projects via the Dutch means that we have to just take the word or forget the loss, put it in Dutch to say in the prullenbak, put it in the garbage bin, or put it on the same landfill where the illegals living, and forget about the laws of the land. Anyway, this was the response of the ministers.
Majority of those individuals as well, I think maybe even I'll dare to say 90+% have opted to be compensated and not relocated. Hence the reason I haven't been mentioning the relocation and building of temporary homes for those individuals over the last maybe 6 or 7 months. So this information about them rather taking compensation has been over the last 8 months, was established. Some of them even signed documents already to that effect. And we're talking not only residents, but residents and some businesses. There are 1 or 2 challenges in terms of relocation, and we are busy looking into that as a Ministry of Vromi.
Thank you, Minister Duran. Thank you, Andrew. We now move on.
I asked also the Prime Minister.
Sorry about that, Prime Minister Jacobs.
I really didn't have anything else to add. The Minister did cover it in regards to relocation. The question for me? The Minister gave a full answer. That's the answer. On the legalization front, that's persons actually right now, I believe the Minister of Justice has given a 6-month grace period for persons who, so it's open to any person who are business owners or business who have persons working that don't have their papers in order to submit and do that. So I think this would be an opportune moment for any of those persons to do so who do not have. But as Minister mentioned, the majority of persons of the list that was compiled via the committee is legal residents of St. Maarten. The majority, the vast majority.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
So what have we learned? We've learned that if you get stopped by immigration, just tell them that you live on the landfill. they're going to have to let you go. That's it. Because they can't touch you. Tell them you are one of those 217 people, and they can't check no database. You know why? Because you're undocumented. You're not in the database. Think about it. So this is it. Now the question is, will these undocumented persons receive a Dutch passport or their legal residence once they get a house from the government? Well, according to the Prime Minister and the Minister of Romy, it's just about 10%, because about 90% are legal and only 10%. So only 10% of them are going to receive a house from government without any papers. Is St. Maarten a real place? I do not know. I just don't. Anyway. You know, we signed it. We signed an agreement with the World Bank. We signed the agreement with the Dutch. We want this free money. We want to fix the island. So, but to what extent? To the extent that you're just going to ignore the laws of the land and allow people who have been squatting at a location for so many years, and you pay them in cash, and you can't deport them. Might as well we stop doing immigration raids. Might as well we stop this grace period that we have. Might as well we stop governing. Oh, we already stopped governing since this government here. But my mind is just blown by this story. Of course, you know, welcome to the late night show. I don't know what else to say because this story is remarkable, but it's happening. It's been taking place, and yeah, lucky those undocumented persons. I wish that the documented person are as lucky as these undocumented ones. Yeah, let's begin.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport.
The girl them taking back shots. I said the girl them like their back shots. You don't know this about Chubby, and I'm here to endorse the thing called Outside Again in St. Maarten this coming February the 25th. So here what? Get your tickets because Collision Man will be coming to you to rock you and jam you in St. Maarten. You don't know, enough DJs gonna be there, Grandmasters, skillful band, and you don't know the Teflon bands gonna be in the building to rock you. So get your tickets, come on out, Sink It's Massive, I'm looking for you, Anguilla Massive. You don't know, ride it, bounce on it, y'all. Let me see you bounce on it, y'all. We ramping hard. Get your rags and get your flags and come in at the band. You don't know. See you guys in St. Maarten on the 25th, Moonlight Bar with it. So what?